If anybody wants to just like leave EJ muted, I think that it might be better for your mental health.
I left mental health at the door approximately 70 episodes ago. We're getting so close to where the post-Chris era has eclipsed the pre-Chris era on Console Crusade.
It will never eclipse the pre-Chris era. Oh, only EJ's allowed to get roasted on a Sunday morning? Okay.
Now recording.
I was up so late trying to get all of my spreadsheets in order, okay? Jigstradamus over here.
After I get a hang of this, don't worry, EJ. I'll be spreadsheeting it up with you.
I'll be spread cheeking it up, dude. On my way to first place this year, baby. Let's go.
I don't know what you're talking about. I came here to win. I didn't come here to lose. I don't join nothing if I'm going to lose, so.
Chris has been saying that for 3 years, big dog. It's how we got him roped into this stupid podcast to begin with.
Usually redemption arcs take a single season, but Chris is working on a fourth.
I'm ready to roll.
The payoff is going to be sweet for him, though, one day.
It's like Transformers Beast Wars. Every season ends with the bad guys winning.
All right. This is the Console Crusade podcast, episode 140, the first of the new year, 2024. We got the whole crew. I'm EJ Olson. I am with, as always, Nick Durheim.
Going for the three-peat.
Get out of here. We got Chris Gilly for
Bangarang.
Brenegade.
I'm back, baby.
Brandon Gustavison!
The OG goober himself.
Okay, we have a lot to do. I said beforehand, there's no holiday catch-up. We're not going to talk about the trip that Chris took to Eugene. We're not going to talk about your guys' New Year's. We're not going to talk about your bins, Chris. We're talking draft and draft only. Do we need to go over the rules for the Fantasy Critic 2024 draft?
For our listeners, yes.
Really quickly, I just want to verify that I do have the agreed upon rules for this year's league set in stone correctly before we draft.
Total standard games for the year, 16 games. We're drafting 6. We're picking up 10. That sounds correct. 3 counter picks for the year. We're drafting 1 today.
Minimum bed still 1. 6 drops.
If for any unreleased reason.
Ooh, yeah.
No super
Counter
drops.
pick still dropping. Yeah. No supers.
Public bidding, tiebreak is earliest bid. That's correct. Trading system, which we've talked about in the podcast. Trading is now a thing. You can trade both games and cash. We talked about how that will be up to committee to approve or not approve.
Now that we're all in one place, I would like to once again advocate for a trade deadline on this league, as is standard in every fantasy league of every kind in the history of fantasy sports, in order to prevent any late season chicanery, EJ Olson, from taking place.
I think it's part of the game, baby. We don't have millions of dollars on the line here, so I don't think we need to protect ourselves from ourselves the way that a professional sports team might.
No. Fantasy leagues have trade deadlines to prevent
sometimes
the kinds of almost always to prevent the kinds of scenarios that you literally outlined on the podcast, going, well, I could maybe win and Brent could maybe get third and he doesn't have money for slots, so I'll send him $10 and he can send me Spider-Man 2, which is complete bullshit and should not be happening in the months of November and December when people are making late season pushes. You stick with your picks.
We have a trade deadline, but you're not allowed to pick up any games after November either.
Why does that make any sense?
None of it makes any sense. That's my point.
But you can trade already scored games. That's the point.
Well, you can trade scored games?
Yeah, you can trade anything.
So, whoa, I didn't even consider that. You can trade a game. So I could pay Brennan $40 for his 90 scored game? This is insane. Okay, we should have a trade deadline. I'm with it.
There you go.
Okay. I thought it was.
Oh my God.
I thought it was just unscored games. And I'm like, why couldn't I trade an unscored game in fucking December? Who cares?
Great.
Wow. Okay.
So, Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween sounds good. I was gonna say Thanksgiving, but I mean that's like a 3-week
so
difference. So
late. That's so late, and almost nothing's gonna come out in the month of December that's worth a damn.
We had how many 3 Hall of Fame games come out in between Thanksgiving and New Year's?
And I don't know how many of those were picked up in that time, but again, like a 2-ish month window seems fine by me. 6 weeks to 2 months.
I mean, by Halloween, we're going to know what the November releases are, so we'll probably want to get those in before. So I think that sounds good to me.
Okay, Halloween it is.
November fills up with a lot of chaff, but it also gets like last minute delays and dates and stuff like that too.
This isn't the whammy league, okay? We should know what things are looking like by Halloween. Okay, beautiful. Okay. I didn't even, dude, this is blowing my mind. You can trade scored games. Okay, that's disgusting.
I'll make a note of that in the manager note, like the message that I can
Thank you.
Right,
put at the top
right.
of the screen for you.
Love that. Scoring rule, 2 points per point over 90. Banned tags. All the usual suspects currently in early access, director's cut. This year, for the first time, anything, remake, reimagining, remaster, partial, blah, blah, blah. Everything's banned except for your one flex slot where you can put one anything. Director's cut doesn't count. Last of Us 2 will not count for your flex spot, but everything else goes.
Ports also.
Yearly installment also banned. Beautiful. Everything looks good. So we are going to do our 6-game draft now. Draft order is going to be Bren, Chris, EJ, Nick, and the rookie, unfortunately, will go last again. But it's a snake draft, so you'll get 5 and 6, Brandon, and then we flip it back up in reverse order.
Hey, it's all good.
Brandon, have you familiarized yourself enough with the back end? Do you know how to draft, how to use your watch list, how to find games?
Partially. There's still some touch-ups I'll have to do today, but don't worry. Like I said, I'm coming in hot. I'm coming in to win. And, first day is always a little bit of a stumble, but from here on out, it's just sweet roads to victory ahead for me.
Well, no stress. We have some time. Make your pick. I'll cut it out. Don't get stressed that you're not talking, yada, yada, yada. It all comes out in editing, baby. So again, we're drafting. The whole point of this, Fantasy Critic, this is our 4th year doing it. We are drafting video games, and we get points based on their Open Critic aggregate score. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know all about this by now. Last bit of housekeeping. 2024, we have started a Discord server for all things Console Crusade, all things video games. If you listen to the podcast and want to talk shit with us, you can find us there. Go to solo.to/Console Crusade. There will be a Discord invite link there, as well as all of our social links, our email, feedback@consolecrusade.com. If you're still a boomer like me, you can find all that there. Come join the Discord. You can talk shit about Fantasy Critic or just about anything else that we're talking about on this podcast through the year. So let's freaking do it. Nick, kick us off. We're doing this thing.
All right. So usually the website does pretty well about actually alerting you. You'll get like a little ding if you have your web browser sounds turned on. It'll let you know when you're drafting. If not, hit refresh. Should be all good.
Yeah, and we'll try to do a good job of reminding each other if it's somebody's turn and they're not looking like they're browsing their browser. It might be because...
Right. So just kicked off. Let's do it. 2024. Brennan's pick.
What are our publisher names?
Our publisher names for Brennan, picking for Bren's Soft. Chris will be picking for Reedingy. EJ will be picking for Jigsterdom Soft.
Let's go!
I will be picking for Team Barry. And Brandon will be picking for the Ramparts.
Love that. Bren's Soft. Not Bren Soft. Bren is soft.
There we
I
go.
can confirm this.
I thought it was Bren, like his soft. You know, like Bren, possessive soft.
Soft, of
Oh,
course,
no,
the
no.
Final Fantasy item that removes stone status.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, with the first
He's doing
pick
it.
in the 2024 Fantasy Critic Console Crusade League, I am picking Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Let's go, baby.
All right.
Doesn't
Wow.
that technically count as a remake in a way?
That's his remake slot.
That is why I'm picking it.
Straight to the flex slot. Right in the afterbirth.
Ha! That game is gonna fuck. First game was an 88, Game of the Year nominee. This game is, by all accounts, looking even better and is about double the amount of content, taking it to the open world. My most excited game of the year. I'm going to be unreachable in the month of March. Do not text, do not call. You'll hear from me on recording days, and otherwise I'm going to be in that sweet, sweet Final Fantasy world.
Yeah, on all my, I have a list of stuff and then how I feel it's gonna go and everything, and I didn't even bother putting Final Fantasy VII in there because I just knew it's all like I feel like I would offend Chris.
4 picks before you.
Yeah, I was like, it's going. There's no point.
This is like the first year that we have done this draft where there is no clear-cut number one. There is no 95. There is no 30-plus point bomb on the board. Brendan waffled, I think, a little bit pre-draft, figuring out what was going to go first. So it's as good a pick as any.
Yeah, ultimately, I think I just wanted to fill in that flex spot with something that I knew was going to be a good remake. Nothing,
No
it'll
chicanery.
be an upper 80s.
Oh, at least. Could be a 90.
If it gets a 90, then amazing. I'll take
perfectly cromulent first pick. You're gonna get stuck at 89, just like the rest of your games last year, Brendan.
it. Yeah, I know.
Oh boy. All right. Bryn, I think that your line of logic here is smart. I think that the thought of we need to grab something in this flex slot while the grabbing is good is sound.
Here comes the Paper Mario. Here we go.
And with the second overall pick, I'm going to windmill dunk Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door remake.
That's a good one. That is a good one. Wow. Is it my turn?
It is. For me, I was for sure either going to grab Final Fantasy or Paper Mario. I'm like, one of those two games is coming off the board in the before me.
Beautiful.
Had my eye on a couple other things, but I'm like, you know what? There's only so many things that are going to be eligible in that flex slot. I don't want to bank on having to fill that later with something substandard. We saw what happened last year with Metroid Prime, that we all agree that 100% became the thing that swung the league. EJ, what are you thinking?
I'm going to be picking a game that has historically done very, very well. The last game 4 years ago did spectacularly, but it had a lot of issues. And this new iteration looks to be fixing those problems.
Uh-oh.
I'm a little skeptical. New engine. And again, historically, pretty punishing on PC in particular. So there is definitely some wiggle room here that this could be a little bit of a reach for the first pick, but I'm going to go Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024.
Okay.
And we're going to hope there are no delays.
Well, they can't call it Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 if they do, right?
Well, they could change the name though, Brendan, and that's what we don't want. Or else maybe Brandon will be picking this first next year.
Man.
Wow.
That's a little shade.
Brandon catching strays.
Logistics question. How does that not qualify as a yearly installment?
Been more than 4 years since the last one.
I thought the last one was like 2022.
It's 2020.
No, it's 2020.
2020.
It's before the series came out.
Okay, so that's long enough that is a new game, but The Last of Us remastered 4 years later is not long enough to be a remake or a remaster.
This is an entire new game. Last of Us is a director's cut, a port essentially with a new level or two. A big distinction between those two.
I don't know how it's not a remaster. I think the director's cut label's weird to me for that. I don't mind not being able to pick it up because there's other great stuff for that flex slot, but I was like, that's probably speaks to why we banned all of those fucking tags to begin with. We're like, this is so muddy.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Thus, my point continues to be made year after year. Next up is me. Let's see.
What could it be?
Well, I'm gonna go the same route as Brandon and Chris with this one.
Oh, here we go.
Go Persona 3 Reload.
Ah!
Obvious. I think this game has like a 93 floor. People love Persona, and ain't nobody gonna review Persona unless they love Persona. It's like a 100-hour game, social links and everything. And it looks really good. It looks a lot better than even Persona 5 did, or any of the various spin-offs that game has sort of gone and done, sequels and such. Easy pick.
Brandon, this is your first ever
I know. Pick.
right here.
And I've thought about it. Not super well. I mean, super well, but in the sense of I just am going to copy with Chris and Brennan and just get that flex just right out of my way. You know, I already had multiples listed. Most of them have been taken, but, you know, as a RPG guy, you know, I know that this series is tried and true, and these are the two top games that are now combined as one for a remake for that flex spot with Suikoden 1 and 2.
Brandon, no.
Oh, buddy. This is your first pick?
Oh,
Yes,
no.
it really is.
Brandon,
It's gonna be
no.
dark horse, homies.
Oh, no, he's
High ceiling.
2021, Chris. No.
Low floor. That's like a 70 to 90 range in there. Easy.
That's
Oh, my God. Oh, not the no release date remaster. Brandon.
I mean, it doesn't have a date, but it is okay, so hold on. I do believe it does have a date. They're just not saying it because they're gonna pull a Konami. And what the deal is as soon as Eiyuden Chronicles announced their release date, that's when the announcement of, oh, we don't know when we're releasing this happened. It's because they're waiting, because Eiyuden Chronicles creators are the original Suikoden creators. So Konami's pulling a Konami, and they're going to drop it right around the same time and be like, look at people like Suikoden way better than your guys' slightly, brothered game of it. It's a very Konami move. So I'm telling you, it's coming out around the same date as Eiyuden Chronicles.
I think you're just trying to get GTA 6 next year. That's what's happening.
He's played the long game.
Got me, dang.
All right.
Big balls, Brandon. Dare I say?
Pick number 2, brother.
So pick number 2. Okay, hold on. Okay, like you said, come out in the editing. So I have it seeing on the games list. How do I pull it up on my thing?
As far as like if you're searching for a game,
how do I select it for?
Go to the top.
You should have there should be a draft
button
game
on the top.
button.
Oh, there's a draft. Okay. Oh, it kicked me off. That's why.
it signed you
guys. Yep, it did. Sorry, guys.
Deleted the cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta keep those cookies. They're delicious and helpful.
Okay, there. It's there now. Beautiful. Okay. That would be why I was having issues, because it kicked me out. So
we back.
For game number 2, Brandon is staying in his well-known RPG lane for right now, and just gonna take another.
Well, you still have to pick Eiyuden. I don't think it showed up as a pick yet.
Suikoden is not going through.
Yeah, you got to pick Suikoden.
Oh, yes.
Suikoden,
sorry.
Wait.
No.
Boom. There we go.
There we go. He's on the board, boys. He's on the board.
Sorry. Okay.
We're learning as we go.
Yeah, we are. Okay, now we're gonna fly right through. But yeah, we're staying the RP. You know what? Actually, for my second pick, I'm going with Like a Dragon, because
Still RPG.
yep, still RPG.
Yeah.
That's a really good pick.
Very dependable 10 points right there. No higher than 15, no lower than 10.
Middling, as they say.
Middling. Got him.
Wow.
I have high standards. What can I say? Which bafflingly doesn't explain my participation in this podcast.
Or every league you've participated in.
Da-da-da-da-da-doom. Got him.
Did you play the previous Like a Dragon game, Brandon?
I haven't played the previous one. I have. Which one do I have? I've played different ones. Like I've played 0. I haven't played the one that's like the Edo era of Japan. And then the last one I haven't. But
When I say previous, I mean like the previous main line, which is the last one with this character that was a straight up RPG.
no,
Like the studio being called literally translated Like a Dragon, but also the like vibe of that game being based on like this main character who's such a big fan of Dragon Quest that all of his fights in his mind play out like an RPG turn-based battle, which is the conceit behind why it's an RPG. Is because this nerd is just so into Dragon Quest that like when he calls his friends to come beat him up, it's a summon. So he summons like a guy who does like a delivery driver. But yeah, this game looks pretty fun.
Oh my God. Now I do have to play the other one. Thank you for adding to, as we've talked about, our 1,000 list of games we still have to beat.
The backlog continues to grow.
All right. Brandon, you're too deep, dude. Now we're back to Nick. This is where he starts to break my heart and take my picks.
No, not yet. I'll let you get Black Myth Wukong because I
Second
am
overall.
picking Metaphor Refantasio.
Oh, wow.
Undated, but this game looks straight to the tippy top 90s. Like this is probably going to be the highest rated game of the year if it comes out this year, but I think it will. They didn't really do
What is this?
big delays after putting like a season on it, you know. This is supposed to be fall of this year.
Wow.
So let's get it.
What is this even?
It is the next game from the Persona devs. It is very Persona inspired, but it is set in a fantasy setting as opposed to just Tokyo again. And that in and of itself makes me think that this will be much more interesting to me and also just like a breath of fresh air and not as Persona pilled.
This is interesting. This is one of the first clips of the year I think I'm gonna have to save for the backlog for our recap at the end of the year. I think this game looked kind of janky. There's not much about it yet. The menus look obtuse. It's stylized but kind of clunky. I mean, it's hard to doubt Atlas.
You're describing Persona 5, so I mean, look at the score on that game and tell me that your opinion on it is relevant.
I don't know. Persona 5 looks a lot more polished than this.
They showed this at the Game Awards, right?
I believe they did show a trailer at the Game Awards. It was announced a little bit before that, I think during the summer showcase that Xbox had it there because they've been trying to get all these big Atlas RPGs day one on Game Pass.
I mean, just looking it over, it's definitely the kind of game that is gonna rustle the weeb jimmies. So I'm with Nick. It's gonna go way up there.
Don't doubt the weebs, EJ. I think you famously said that last year's draft.
The weebs are the whales.
I have drafted Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, hoping for 2024.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's coming up in a few
Hoping
months.
it is substantial and does better than any of the Dark Souls DLC because those were all pretty soft. Softer than Bren, in fact. It's hard to doubt the absolute monolith that is FromSoft, and that was Elden Ring. So
Yeah. Yeah,
That's a good pick. That would have been my next pick. I was looking at one of two different expansions to historically extremely highly rated publishers for a potential next pick. And my next one is going to be the other one, which I'm sure is going to be a certified hood banger, as has every expansion pack to come to this game. And that is Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail.
Damn it.
Oh wow! This isn't even on my list this year.
Oh, EJ,
Where you at, Jigster Thomas? Where you at? Every single one of those expansions is an 88 or higher. Some of them are plus 90.
Yeah.
Bro, that was a big get for me in 22 and 20,
Yeah.
22 or 21. I can't remember. That was huge.
Yeah, the
Oh,
last one was
man.
like a 92 or something.
Yeah, they are
crazy.
all amazingly reviewed.
At what point are we done with this fucking game?
It is the best MMO on the planet, and it has been for the last 3 years, 5 years.
I played this game for a week. This game fucking sucks. Weebs are dumb.
You don't play JRPGs. Don't come at me about a JRPG-inspired MMO.
Clip it.
Clip it,
posterity.
please. Let's fucking clip it. Let's fucking clip it. So when this is an 89, I can stick it in your fucking face in a future podcast episode.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
I am put in a precarious position now, fellas.
Nah.
2 in a row. You get doubles.
I know.
Nah,
I
you're
know.
good,
I
brother.
know.
You can't give away a next pick when you also have the next pick.
I know. I know.
Unless he goes Destiny
But-
DLC for some reason here.
Well, okay.
Let's go.
Thanks for telegraphing
Wait, what's next
my
one called?
moves
The
there,
False
EJ.
Hope or whatever? I mean, that's what last year's actually was. But
I'm in this man's brain. This is why I predicted all my scores and ordered them in order from best to worst, and then ordered my draft order in that order so that I don't have to question myself. I just look and see what's available.
I wasn't expecting that to get taken. I was going to take the Final Fantasy DLC. Fuck it. Hollow Knight Silk Song. Let's go.
Oh! This thing has been passed
Let's get it.
around.
Like syphilis in a fraternity house.
Absolutely.
Oh,
this is the year.
this is the year.
It's gonna happen.
I want this for you, brother. It's not even on my
I
list.
know,
I said,
I
fuck
know.
this. I'm staying the fuck away
I thought
from
Nick
it.
would have taken it second, but
He was tempted. I could feel his
couldn't do that
loins
to you, brother.
swelling.
Prediction 100.
I'm gonna pick up Dragon's Dogma 2. That's my third
Yo,
pick.
that game looks
Ooh,
really good.
Boomer
Yeah,
bust.
it looks- people really like the first one, and this one actually looks awesome. I really want to play it.
Yeah, and the last one was one that was like, hey, an expansion came out and they fixed a lot of things, but it was before Cyberpunk, so it didn't get best ongoing game, so not enough people actually knew that it got better. So it's one that sits in perpetuity as a low-scoring game on Metacritic, but is actually secretly beloved.
I mean, it's an 80 on. Well, maybe that's a different one.
And Dark Arisen was the big expansion and port that ended up
Oh, yeah,
getting
that's
the
an-
HD
That's an
versions. On.
80. Interesting.
It was also before the Capcom revolution, where they came back and decided, hey, we make only good games now.
Yeah.
Resident Evil and Monster Hunter.
Oh boy. All right. Redingy.
Yeah. I'm thinking okay, we're in third round now. 3 out of 6. Thinking about, do I want my new game franchise slot plugged? Do I want to take that kind of, I don't want to call it a risk, but do I want to make that move in round 3, or do I want something that I think is going to be a solid point getter? Oh man. Okay. I'm also trying to think about, I've got some stuff on my list that I think is probably either going to be on EJ's pejorative Chris will want this game list wrongfully, not rightfully, wrongfully. And that I don't think that any of y'all are going to be interested in picking up that I think is going to be quality points. That may be something we look at in the first little bit of pickups here. I am going to take, oh wait, no, I'm on the watch list. I'm not in the draft function. There we go. I'm going to take Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. This game looks really fucking good. The more stuff that they've been slow dripping in the last couple of weeks. It looks like it has a bunch of quality of life stuff that is like everything I've wanted to see in a Metroid game forever. Like your waypoints are literal pictures, so you can look at exactly what you wanted to remember. It's optimized for Switch, which means it's running at 1080p and 60 frames on the Switch, and on every other console is running at like 1440 and 120 frames, which is like, I literally can't even imagine what that looks like.
I would hope so, considering it looks like a fucking PlayStation 3 game. It looks fucking terrible.
Looks just as good as Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon, EJ.
Looks great. Then counterpick it, motherfucker. Put your money where your mouth is. Yeah, counterpick it, bitch.
When they showed this off initially, we were all impressed by it. I watched like an hour-long gameplay exhibition. Is this the same thing we saw at the showcase last summer that we first saw this? I can't remember. We talked about it on the pod, but
It was spring or summer. It was around that point.
I'm sure it's going to be good. The team that did this did those Rayman games that like basically revived the franchise before
And
they
are
let
awesome.
it die again.
Everybody loves Rayman.
I got that one, Nick. I got that one.
Thank you.
R.
Oh, I
I
just
died
got that.
inside.
All right, EJ, what's the pick?
I just feel like I'm really going out on a limb.
Then do it. Do it. Take every
Let
risk.
those plums take the wheel, brother.
Just games that don't have release dates yet kind of freak me out.
As well they should.
I'm about to have 3 of them.
I love the risk.
Oh
Do it.
man.
Risk of Rain 3, EJ's 2024 draft.
I'm going to go, because this is just a running bit now, but I'm going to go with the Rift of the Necrodancer. I love me a good rhythm game, apparently. The last one did very well. Cadence of Hyrule did very well. This game, I think, might be a little bit risky because of some of the development issues that it had. Layoffs, delays, an entire publisher change, I believe.
And they all have like the same exact problems where they can't make money and then they do shady shit.
The games have spoke for themselves so far, and this game looks cool. So take a flyer, baby. And you know what? I think the draft is the time, because we have 6 drops this year. It's better to take a flyer on a game you think is going to be good but might not come out that you can drop for free than it is to like use those drops on games you've already paid for and now you're paying for them twice. You know what I mean? So like this is the time to do it. So I'm doing it.
I could see it. I don't know. That I had looked at this game as well, but they seem to be Cadence of Hyrule was very much like more of the same, but in Hyrule with Crypt of the Necrodancer in terms of like these are the mechanics that we're using in this rhythm game. Rift is adding a lot of additional mechanics and elements that I'm not going to, this is not a fair like score comparison, but immediately made me feel uneasy in a, like a sports story sense of like a really, really troubled development and a game and a mechanic that worked really, really well. And then they try and do more stuff with it. It goes through development hell, it changes hands, and it ends up not being good. So that could be a big bummer. And it's also our first, I think, clear counterpick candidate of the day.
Yeah, this is the first game that I do not have on my watch list whatsoever. And I have 38 games on my watch list.
Wow. Well, nobody had goddamn
Hi-Fi Rush.
Well, that shadow dropped. He's talking about Theater Rhythm.
Theater Rhythm, and that dropped to an 86. So you know what?
Yeah.
For the meme, pick number 3.
That's why I'm saying like I can't say that you have not had good no scope picks in the past. Just like following your plums and not like just pulling something out of a hat. And I just had no sort of opinion on it, but this does ring a little bit more hollow than Theater Rhythm, even to me. My next pick, number 3, is gonna be. I'm just leaning hard on the weeaboos this year, man. Like that is what I'm doing.
Grand Blue!
Do it.
No, don't pick Grand Blue.
He's going to do it.
It is Unicorn Overlord.
Yep. That's a good
That's
pick.
on my list.
That's
you
a good
monster.
They put out very well reviewed games, and this looks like probably one of their biggest games as far as the scope of the gameplay is very deep strategy RPG roots. And sickos are hungry for that always. So, hell yeah, let's go. Vanillaware does not miss.
Okay, no, Brandon's going to take Grand Blue. Grand Blue's going to be good.
No, it's not.
You don't take it, I'm taking it.
Is that the one that literally changed developers?
You're taking it, EJ, because Brandon's going for another underdog choice here.
Oh,
in
no.
the I'm also heavily relying on the weeaboos because I'm going for Legends of Hero Trails Through Daybreak, which I know right now it's low on points, but I mean all these Trails games, they all score pretty decently well. And as Steel has been going on, those have been getting better. And everybody I've seen who's played the Japanese version or played the fan translation, they're like, this is the reinvention of this series. Like, this is so much better. This isn't stale anymore. This is even better. And so I'm thinking it's going to come out higher.
Is that not banned in our league right now? It is ineligible.
Oh, rip.
Oh.
Yes, because it has already been released internationally.
Oh yeah, I guess you did. Ooh, rip. Then I just have to go with my next choice, which you sometimes want to go on things you grew up with, and that would be Tekken 8.
Tekken.
Good pick.
Yeah. That's high up on mine.
That is such a better pick, Brandon, than a fucking another Weeboo game that's gonna get a 79.
Yeah, dude.
Holy crap.
Dude, the last games have gotten low 80s. I was confident in a mid 80 for that one. So, but sucks to be me.
No, Tekken's a great pick.
Tekken's a great pick. It's on all of our, I'm sure, on all of our watch lists.
And I guess that goes to me again. See, Tekken was my next pick anyway. So now I wasn't quite ready for the next
four?
one. I know, because just like Nick, I'm trying to be nice to EJ and leave Black Myth Wukong for Homeboy.
That game's gonna be fucking good, I'm telling you.
Game's gonna be a 76, and I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
You know what, EJ?
No, 76, no.
There's been some picks for games that we're not confident if they're coming out or not. I'll take that shot too. I'll be with the homies, and I'm gonna go with Hades 2.
Whoa. No, buddy.
That's
Brother.
I know that's a dangerous pick, but like EJ said, we all got that free one. So
See, mine are at least slated for 2024. Yours is not even slated for early access yet. That is have you picked it yet?
Brendan picked Silk Song. So I mean, that's not till at least like 2050.
Brandon, that game was supposed to come out 5 years ago. Your game might not come out for 5 years.
It's going to hit early access this year. There's not a chance in hell that game releases this year, which is sad because it means that we'll never be able to draft it in League because it's going to have a bunch of reviews from early access from this year.
That's what happened to Hades also.
Yeah.
It was ineligible for us back in the day.
Stupid IMO.
Well, they shouldn't release it in early access then.
Early access is great. We want to support early access of devs going, we need real time. Look at Baldur's Gate, for fuck's sake. Game of the year.
Exactly. Ineligible for our league. Too bad for us. Win for literally everybody else.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate is as good as it is because of the early access.
Oh, God. Back to me. Let's see. Already taken more flyers on undated games than I was anticipating with my, 2? With like soft dates. 1 even softer. But like EJ said, the draft is the time to do this. It's me just playing chicken with y'all about what you want to counterpick. Like, do you really want to counterpick a game that could get a 90 plus and just sink you like Alan Wake did to EJ last year?
Yeah. I'm not going to name them until after the draft, but there are some wild potential 90s on this board right now that someone will counterpick if they get drafted, and it could absolutely destroy them. There are some low-key PC bangers coming out in 2024.
Yeah, I'll let you take the risk on Stalker, EJ.
Fuck no, absolutely not.
Dude, that's funny. That's exactly what I was looking at while he was talking. I'm so like, is that what he's talking about?
Hell no. I'm talking about good games that I'm not going to name yet, but I will. Remind me. I'll come back to this.
So wait, this is pick 4? Okay. I can probably leave the ones alone that I know y'all are too scared to pick.
Let's draft Momodora. I know you want that. I know you want that sweet, sweet 78, Nick.
No, I like the previous Momodora, but their last game wasn't very good actually, so I'm not going to take the heart pick on that. Even though I'd probably like it. I don't think it's like 80 plus material.
That was the joke.
It was a very funny joke, EJ.
Thanks, man. It was for you because you're the only person who's played Momodora.
Ever. It's weird.
Guys, my hunger is just ripping into me right now. I can't wait to eat.
Can't wait for you to make some bad choices because your stomach's empty.
Oh, no. We're only drafting 6 games.
Yeah, and I'm icing EJ by taking my sweet time on pick 4.
That's okay. Brandon's making all the bad decisions for us, so we're fine.
High key.
I'm ready for you guys to just get blown out of the water because, you're just sleeping on all these great games that are just going to hit those 80 pluses. I mean, admittedly, I've maybe picked one possible 90, but everything else 80 plus, and that's all that matters.
Do you think Brandon is ready for how vicious the group chat gets during the year over this league?
No.
Is he prepared for this?
Not even 1%.
I'm just glad it's not going to be aimed at me this time.
You're welcome, Brennan.
You got your fair share of shit, but it was mostly me jumping over you to rip Chris apart and vice versa. So
No, but I will say thank you for the counter picks this round, Brandon.
Yeah. Reverse order for counter picks as well. So
Shit.
Brandon gets to pick counter picks first.
Oh, that's great. That means I get to pick Brandon's game second. That's great. Nick and I are going to clean up right now. Let's go.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. We'll go expansion as well. We're gonna do Splatoon 3 side order.
Whoa.
Roguelike mode for Splatoon. The people
Whoa.
are hungry for roguelikes.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. I have so many potential games to choose from, and I don't know which direction I want to go. Earthblade doesn't look as good as the previous entry from this developer.
The year that comes out ends in a 5, EJ.
Soft release date. Rise of the Golden Idol just got teased. It's coming to mobile. How does that impact things?
Mobile games.
Mobile game. What happened to Brennan's?
Like,
Jared Hill.
we've got the JRPGs and Grand Blue and Ayuden Chronicles. Those both should be good. Ayuden Chronicles kind of looks like a shitty 3DS game, but so did Bayonetta.
looks
So what do I
pretty
know?
bad.
What do I know?
You don't.
You know nothing.
That game's gonna probably review like shit, but and then there's some of the PC bangers that I want to kind of save in the back pocket because I think they're gonna be really good. Ah, man.
You want to get outbid on them? Because we can go to that too.
I'd rather have, I mean, that's what it's gonna come down to. Shit, dude. Let me. I have these, like I said, in order of predicted score, but let me read my blurbs here just to make sure I'm not missing any crucial information, like a potential delay. See, season passes scare me, guys. This is a harder fourth pick than I thought it would be, to be honest.
Yeah, we're getting into that real weird place.
We didn't get to this place until like pick 6 last year.
Well,
Yeah.
bumper year, as discussed. Plus, like, I don't know, with 5 of us, we're that many more total number of picks down the list. That
I know
much
6
sooner.
times 4 was 24, and we're in pick 4 out of 5, so we're at 20.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot more games like fully announced though last year too at this time.
Yeah. A lot of stuff
At least
pushed.
That's what
So-
it felt like. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Happened to fall into 2023 for sure.
Sony had a game announced. Yeah, what's the name of that PvE extraction game with the $sign?
Oh, that's already out? That's already out.
No, the Sony one? No, that got announced last year. I can't remember what it's called. It literally has a $sign for an S in the title. People wearing like bunny masks and cyberpunk hat. It's quipping.
Fair games. Sorry.
There it is. That's the one.
I literally typed in Sony game $ extraction.
There you go.
Wow. EJ, what is it? What's the pick?
Oh, I'm scared. I just know Nick's gonna laugh at me.
I'm going to laugh at you regardless, so just do it.
Oh no.
Rent free, baby.
Oh no. Oh, I'm so scared now. It's not Black Myth Wukong. It's not. I promise.
Come on, dude. That game looks great.
All of us are leaving it for you.
Yeah, 85, 88, baby. Come on.
Homeworld. Ooh.
All right. Homeworld 3. I think this low key has PC banger potential. This is a beloved franchise. The remastered got, I think, an 86 or an 87 on OpenCritic.
Was on my list.
The game looks good. This game looks like it is hitting all the notes for people who are into games like Homeworld. But the season pass scares me. This is what games are becoming, and that could just be rejected outright. It could also be done well or completely ignored. Who knows? But you know what? Here's my first flyer. It has a release date. This could be a 90. This could be an absolute banger-rang game. It could also be Company of Heroes 3. So,
Or System Shock 3.
well, this isn't a half-ass remake. This, it's a new game.
Well, I think System Shock's problem was less that it was a half-assed remake and more that it was an old game that they kept old.
Yeah.
And I don't remember when Homeworld 2 came out. Wasn't that like a mid-thousands?
It's
sort
been
of-
a
It was
while.
like
It's like in-
early.
Yeah, so it's been a little bit. I don't know about I haven't looked into what team is developing it and how that sort of legacy has been carried on. Oh, here's Chris. Explain
No.
yourself.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
What?
Say it out loud.
Thanks, Chris.
I am picking Metroid Prime 4. I think there is, if we look to the history of the Metroid franchise in the modern era, of the release calendar for these games between announcement and subsequent release, it's like less than 6 months in every single case. Samus Returns came out with approximately a 3 to 4 month window after announcement in the spring. Dread came out like 4 or 5 months post not E3. I can't remember if they did E3 that year, if they didn't do E3 that year.
It was E3.
Yeah, and all signs point to this being a 2024 game. I'm the only person so far who's not taken anything that we know is not coming out this year. And I feel like you can counterpick it if you want. If you want to get Alan Wake again, EJ, snatch it right up. This game is coming out. I just don't know if it's going to be a multi-console release, as we've discussed on this before, or if it's going to be like the final Nintendo Switch game. But this game's for sure coming out. This game's coming out.
This will be a September counterpick from Brennan.
I wish you luck on your endeavors, Chris.
He's manifesting right now. All right, this is the heart pick. We don't need to talk smack about it.
You can say whatever you like, but every single thing that's come out about this game from insiders, from leakers, from verified people in the know, is that this game is pretty much ready to go. And that what was the last thing was like they're working on something to do with the cutscenes, probably because they're preparing it for multiple consoles and trying to make it look good enough to be a Switch 2 or Nintendo Focus. I like that name.
If this is the big launch title for Switch 2, it's going to be a dire launch.
No. It's not. Well, it's always a dire launch. Like, except for when we got Breath of the Wild, which was a Wii U game that was ported. Yes, Nintendo console launches tend to suck. And we've talked about this on the podcast before. It is verifiable. Look it up. This will not be the release. I think we're getting 3D Mario as the proper launch title for Switch 2. But I think it will be one of the others. Okay, counterpick it.
No, I'm talking unannounced Mario 3D 2025. I see it in Nick's eyes. He knows. I see it in his eyes.
I know many things, EJ.
I'm saving $15 at least to throw at that game when it gets announced for 2024.
I'm saving $16.
Oh, I'm saving $17.
Okay, I can do math too, bucko.
Can you?
Narrator.
Do you know your times tables? Bucko.
No, actually. I was trying to do 6 times 5 last night, and I was like
30.
I got the fingers out and shit. Yeah. All right, Bren Dog.
Toes.
Oh man, I just do want to say I was gonna take Homeworld 3, so that was a good pick.
Shit, Brennan liked it. I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
T fucking he.
Follow your heart.
Do it. Yeah,
Heart
I'm gonna
pick.
go Black Myth Wukong.
No!
Really good.
Wow. The Lies of B. The Lies of B.
Looks really good.
It looks really fucking good.
I'm excited for this game. I think it'll do well.
Brennan.
EJ, I saved that for you for nothing.
This is my fucking game, man. I didn't think anyone was going to draft it today. Okay, as a Souls vet and someone who also played Lies of P, like you're also pretty well versed in the knockoffs. This game looks fucking good, right?
It looks fantastic. It looks better than Lies of P in terms of Souls gameplay. I mean, the gameplay looks fantastic. I just hope it delivers.
It looks better than Wolong.
Oh, 100%.
Definitely looks better than Rise of the Ronin.
You wanted to pick this instead of Wolong.
Yes.
But you got lucky.
I fucked up, and I got lucky that I fucked up because I confused my Chinese mythology Souls-like games.
To be fair, that's a pretty niche window. So,
And they both start with W, which is fascinating.
Yeah, I got completely confused, befuddled.
2 nickels.
Oh, what is my next pick, though? What is my next pick?
Number 5.
It's crazy how few games have hard release dates right now.
I know.
It's insane.
be honest, one of y'all was going to take Metroid Prime 4 somewhere in the late rounds.
Absolutely not on my list.
not
I
even
would take
close.
Metroid Prime
Nope.
2 remastered over Metroid Prime 4. That was on my list. Prime 4 was not on my list.
You still have a flex slot you got to fill, man. You
I
could
do.
you could take Prime 2. It'd be a solid 83.
Well, you guys are going to be filled up, so I'm just going to wait and see what happens, what gets announced, and I'll, plan act accordingly. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I don't think you're going to have a better one than we've got.
Probably not, but I'll have a fine one. And you guys aren't going to drop Paper Mario in lieu of Metroid Prime Remastered, so I'll be able to pick up whatever I want in that slot, and I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm living well.
Yep, you're good. You're great.
I'm going to go with another game from my list from last year.
Uh-oh.
That I'm gonna go with the Plucky Swire.
Nice.
This game looks really nice.
Yeah,
I
that's solid.
like the look of this game.
Plucky AF.
Scary counter pick for me last year because I was like, oh boy, I feel like this is. I don't think it's coming, but if it does,
I don't think it's gumming, but if it does,
Oh Lord.
Did you guys think I was gonna say Suicide Squad?
not even a little. You learned your lesson. That's a
I
whammy
did.
ass whammy game.
Brandon might take it though.
I don't
There's
think it's.
hope yet.
I don't think it's good enough for the whammy.
Suicide Squad's definitely a 98. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Highest rated game of all time, Suicide Squad.
The next Ocarina of Time.
I mean, haven't you guys heard all about it and looked at all the news articles of it? It's just amazing.
I've been doing a lot of research.
Okay, let's see.
Black Myth. Wow. I love that, Bren.
This is probably going to come out that I would rather have on my roster than anybody else's, but I think would be a quick counter pick. And I value my flexibility very highly this year. I would like to be able to get things out a little sooner, not get stuck with a bunch of dead weight. Fuck.
Is Redfall available again?
Best ongoing game.
It'll probably win that in 2 years. Piece of shit.
Bro.
Hey, Avowed is available.
You know what's also available? My avocado-sized nuts. Would you like a piece of those?
You should get those checked out.
Chris has talked a lot about his large nuts lately. I'm starting to think there's just a scale problem and that he's got a warped sense of. I need a banana for scale, not your banana for scale, Chris.
6 and 1, half dozen of the other, baby. I'm going to take what is an absolute sure 80 plus. Probably sits a little bit closer to like 86 ceiling, but probably like an 83, 84. And that is the. Oh, wait, I can't take this, can I? Oh, son of a bitch. That's right. I forgot.
Now you know how it feels to be me.
None of us have plunged to such depths, my friend.
Oh, okay. It was telling me it was still available, but that's only because of the flex slot, not because I still have a flex slot. That's annoying.
No new game franchises yet for you either.
True.
Not that it's hard to fill. It's just interesting to see what people gravitate towards.
Yeah, I have some stuff on my list that may end up being somebody's 5th or 6th round pick that I would be like, I might feel a little iffy about someone else having. I'm just like, this is where I'm at. I'm looking at 4 titles. None of them have release dates. They all have release windows. They're things that if I wait until I have a release date, these are gonna be bidding wars. They're gonna be fucking good games. But do I want to spend a pick on this without knowing if that's gonna be money in the bank?
Well, like we've talked about, drafts are free pickups. I mean, you run the risk of them getting a free counter pick as well without the opportunity to drop. But
Well, that's just
there's
it.
the breaks. Let your confidence speak for yourself.
That's the rock, paper, scissors of it, right? It's like pick it up now. It could get counterpicked. It could be dead weight. Wait to pick it up. I have to spend money. Might not get it. I am going to draft a 2023 draft selection from at least one of my leagues. And that is Pepper Grinder.
It's a good pick.
It looks very cute.
It's got to come out this year, right? I mean, how long do indie games like that really take to make? I mean,
Oh, Fisho, and they also didn't Devolver show that in their coming in 2024 their delayed games showcase.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it's coming. I think it'll be good.
Also, is Devolver like the A24 of video game devs?
No, that's Annapurna.
Yeah, I was gonna say like no, but I love that comparison so deeply.
The
Bren.
Blumhouse.
I was watching the trailer for Skate Story, and I was just like, this just seems like an A24 short film.
EJ, pick a game. Consult the spreadsheet.
I thought you were just supposed to pick the next highest rated game. This is why you rated all of them with your predicted score and then ordered them in order of numbers, so you could just look at the next one and grab it.
Chris, I don't have a game with a release date for 14 more picks on my watch list in order of predicted score. I need
Pick the one
something
with a release date.
Sounds like
With
you
a
needed
release
another
date.
spreadsheet, buddy.
14 picks down. It's a lot less clear to me which shitty JRPG I should get for 11 points. You know what I mean? It's a lot less clear to me than Rise of the Golden Idol or Mina the Hollower. You know, it's just it's a different game. I didn't expect to be
Homeworld
here.
has a release date. You're 1 for 4.
I know. I want the rest of my picks to have.
I can't
release
believe
dates.
that EJ was like, I want every single one of my picks this year to have release dates, and has just only now picked one that actually has a release date. Like, that's so fucking funny.
I don't know if I actually said that about this year.
Yeah, I know that was a strategy for last year, but I don't know if that was the defined strategy for this year.
And I filled every slot with games that got scored. So
And that really took you very far.
it was good for a distant second place.
All
Not
the
so
way to
distant,
almost
one
top,
game.
baby. One legendary game, not one game, one 17 or 18 point game. Obfuscator.
I think he more meant the 28 points that I got in the in the draft. He got 7 instead.
Breathe.
All right. Let me hear it. I am going to go with one of the JRPGs. I'm going to go with the one that does
Blue?
look like a 3DS game.
Grand Blue.
It's Psy Games and Platinum. Consistent output. The Grand Blue series has done pretty well. He's put out the fighting game this year that did well. This looks like a fun, fluid action game.
Looks like a 78 to me, pal.
Sure, maybe it could be low 80s, you know, but it definitely looks better than Ayuden Chronicles. But again, you can't doubt the weebs. Who knows? These are such shots in the dark. But it has a release date, and this looked good to my eye. And again, consistent developers attached to it. Seems like a perfectly cromulent pick.
Yeah, you get points out of it.
Astoundingly cromulent.
For a 5th round pick, that's not a bad pick.
I think it's a better pick than Trails of Cold Steel 5 or whatever. No offense, Brandon.
I mean, I didn't get it because I had already been released, but I mean,
Trails is
but-
consistent.
What reviews did it get internationally? Does it have reviews yet?
well, I'm checking.
We have our fingers on the pulse.
What's the name of this again, Brandon?
It's Trails of Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak is the English title.
Probably a Famitsu aggregate, but their scores are very
Skewed. yeah.
skewed.
Yeah.
Let's see. Trails through Daybreak.
You can't trust Famitsu because they give everything 10 out of 10s.
Except inexplicably really great games.
Yeah, Trails is extremely dependable. It's more dependable than Grand Blue's been. I don't think they've had a sub 80 in a minute.
That's why I was hyped. I forgot the no already pre-international releases.
Nick, what'd
that
you
was a
pick?
bummer.
Nick, what?
It says 2024. Let's see it.
Nice, dude.
Senua's Saga Hellblade 2.
That's a perfect spot for this if it's going to get drafted. You cannot trust it with a top 3 pick or even maybe a 4th round pick. But 5, 6, where you're like, I have no choice. I have to have things on the board right now. Man, that's smart. That's a swing. It's a smart swing, but that is a swing.
It's not a swing. It's been fucking 6 years since the last game, and it's announced for 2024. That's a great pick.
When did Hollow Knight come out?
That's different. That's 4
2016.
people
How is it
working on
different?
it.
Independent developer.
Well, not independent anymore. They got by Microsoft. There's no excuse anymore.
The things that you just said, though, those are things, and they objectively make sense.
Scope creep.
But they don't make sense.
This probably could have
in
been a
this.
2021, 2022 game if they remained independent, but they got by Microsoft, and it became much more important for this to be their like Last of Us kind of moment. So
Totally.
we'll see if they hit.
Oh, it's gonna hit.
The combat looks cool.
It's a good game.
Oh,
it's coming out
Brandon,
this year.
You did it.
I'm taking on EJ.
Oh, no,
after
Brandon,
his
no.
shade. After his shade, bring it, EJ. We'll see which one gets
man.
better
Battle
scores.
of the sevens here. I'll see you, bro. All right. Side bet. We got our first side bet of 2024.
You're welcome.
Ayuden Chronicles. Wait, I think I still owe Chris on one of our 2 side bets from last year. Let's loop back to this.
You owe me one eaten shoe.
Insert clip.
And I think money because we split some checks, but then we didn't split some other checks. So we'll talk about it.
Who's going to get a better review? Ayuden Chronicles 100 Heroes or Grand Blue Fantasy Relink?
75 versus 76.
While Eating Chronicles is a new developer, it is the old developers of the first 2 Suikoden games, which are highly respected and loved by JRPGs.
All your
and
eggs in
weeboos.
that basket. You're just pushing them all in.
Oh yeah,
that basket.
because EJ keeps throwing shade. So
When our OG beloved Mega Man devs came back to Mighty Number 9, that fucking worked out spectacularly. So, I can't see a flaw in your logic whatsoever.
What money are we putting on this side action here? And I'm gonna get in on it. That's for sure.
Grand Blue is definitely going to be better than Ayuden Chronicles.
$10?
No way.
$10? Is that the bet? Or, well, I mean, who's taking this bet? Brandon, or you? You said you're.
It's Brandon. It's me. Because
Okay, great.
I told him that's why I picked it. I picked it to go against EJ and his Grand Blue.
I'll put $10 on the side action that Grand Blue outscores Ayuden.
Brandon, I will bet you one dinner of our choice. A sit down, you and me, bro date, dinner of choice. All right?
Oh, that's a hard bet.
It's a little more than $10.
It's sold.
But either one of us loses, we both still win. Well, I
We
win
do.
if I lose. You lose if you lose. But, you know, because then you still have to have dinner with me. So,
Fair. I double lose.
all right, shake on that, brother. Love that. Dinner of choice. Winner's choice. I should clarify. No shenanigans. This is winner's choice.
Mary Kay and Ashley's winner's choice.
I feel like I can already take a couple good guesses about what both of us will pick. And it might just be the same thing.
See, here's the thing is if I win, I'm making you come to Eugene to take me to dinner.
I'm making us both drive to Gresham.
Oh, shit.
All right,
You
so
get another pick, brother.
next pick. Yeah, I'm just
Final pick.
I wanted
pick
us-
6.
Nobody's gonna bet me $10 that Grand Blue's gonna outscore Ayuden.
I mean, sure, I'll take you, Chris.
I'm with you. I mean, obviously, Brandon believes in his game, so Grand Blue's definitely going to outscore Ayuden Chronicles.
All right.
Out of lunch and $10. Man.
Man's is going to be destitute.
Have a barrel around his waist.
we stepped a little bit away from JRPGs and Weeboo stuff.
Yo,
and
there it is.
We're just gonna go with a solid. It has a release date. It's coming up, and we're going Helldivers 2.
It's a great 6-round pick.
Sony exclusive,
Safe.
multiplayer game in a slow year. People are going to play this.
Oh yeah, and the Helldivers 1, people played that one like crazy too. That was a good solid game for all of 6 months, and then everybody forgot about it.
You know, I can't fault you. Nick Durheim.
Back to me.
What's it going to be, baby?
Final pick.
Final.
Hold on. I'm reorganizing my watch list based on things that have already been taken because they don't get automatically removed.
I know, I hate it so much. It's like the big black eye on this whole system that otherwise works very well is I have to go in and manually remove shit. And the fact that like I filled my flex slot and it left a bunch of shit on there that is absolutely not available to be eligible anymore. Like, come on, what are we doing?
Two things that I have tweeted at this guy about. Well, one, I completely agree. The watch list thing should be an easy fucking fix. Two, the fact that on the releasing soon table at the top doesn't give you the score in another fucking cell right next to the thing. So you have to manually go down to see what the score is. Just put a fucking cell on the table at the top that shows recently released or upcoming games with the score there. So I can just load the page and see immediately what has been scored recently. It's incredibly irritating. Anyway, Nick is staring wistfully at his list. Listfully. Oh, what do we got?
Whoa!
There it is.
Switch 2 is this year. And so is 3D Mario.
One of us.
Whoa.
One of us.
That is bold.
Gauge my plums and whether you want to risk it.
That is a
That is
brilliant, brilliant pick because nobody has the stones to counterpick that because that is a minus fucking 22 or 24. And guaranteed a minus 20 points. Gives him flexibility to drop it. Minus 30. Wow. That is bold. That is bold.
I mean, what, Mario Odyssey is like the highest rated game on OpenCritic before Baldur's Gate? Like, it
yeah,
was a
there's
96.
no guarantee that it's going to be to that level of standard. It could.
No guarantee, but past is precedence with 3D Marios.
Man, I just feel like we're at a point. It's January. We've heard nothing of anything. I could see there being a revision to the Switch, a not true successor.
Odyssey didn't get a title until January, the year it came out.
But we knew that the Switch was a thing by January.
We knew the Switch was a thing because the Wii was a failure and they needed to pad out that time to let people know that there was hope and that the console was coming out in 3 months. This console isn't coming out till September or October. So
March
we
announcement,
don't have to know about it until like spring.
late Q3, early Q4 release for sure.
As soon as they announce Switch 2, then Switch sales are going to plummet. They want to ride that high as long as they can.
You know, it sucks. I've thought about this fucking game for weeks. And I just felt like, for all the reasons we've talked about, Nintendo's not going to launch a Mario game with a Switch 2. Like, so if the Switch 2 comes out in March, I could see this being a late year release. If the Switch 2 doesn't come out until, like you guys said, November, the way consoles typically do, this to me strikes the end of March to really blow up their numbers going into that investor meeting.
Yeah. I think the next Switch has to launch with either 3D platformer Mario or Mario Kart.
Yes.
Because last time they had Zelda, they didn't have to have anything else.
And it sold
They
units.
ported Mario Kart.
Zelda sold units. It did. And if Zelda can sell units, Mario can sell units.
Oh yeah, Mario would obviously be a phenomenal launch title, but again, this is Nintendo we're talking about.
They'll sell a version of Tears of the Kingdom on the next console, or it'll just drop with a patch and they'll like have a bundle, some way to entice buyers to like get this new console with a big new thing. But also I think they need like an actual new game. And for most people, Breath of the Wild was a Switch title. It wasn't a Wii U title because ain't nobody had a Wii U.
Bro, that's got me so fucking twisted that you got that, because I know it's just, if Kristen drafted this, it'd be a 2026 game. You drafted this, it's going to be a 98 dropped on our fucking domes, and it's bullshit. And I'm so fucking tilted.
You had like literally like 3 opportunities before I got this. Even mentioning it, even saying it out loud.
I know,
You're like,
that's
it's
the thing.
2025.
I didn't think
And
he
you
was going to
believed
draft
it.
it.
You believed it until I picked it.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that's the case, but you're a motherfucker. I didn't expect anyone to draft it. So this was always just on the very bottom of my list, thinking no one's going to draft it. I will bid $50 on this when it comes out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about it. I will win this fucking game, and it will drop a 97, and I will clean up with it. But you drafted it. You drafted it for free. And now it comes down to us. Like Chris said, no one has the plums to counterpick it.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up.
God.
It wasn't on my watch list either. I'm just free balling it.
Free
just felt it.
ballin'.
Felt a twinge.
Is this my last pick?
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck.
Sir, yes, sir.
So the only game that I think is going to be good that has a release date currently, I don't think Banishers Ghost of New Eden is worth drafting. Open Road is going to be a 70-something. Tales of Kenzera is probably going to get delayed out of the year, and we're going to suck. Avowed, fuck you. Thaumaturge is going to be bad. Princess Peach Showtime is going to be Princess Peach Showtime. So the only other good game with a hard release date is Rise of the Ronin. And I did talk shit about it, but again, it is Team Ninja.
Certainly a game.
It'll do long numbers, maybe a little bit lower.
One of the games of all time.
It's like an 82 on it. That's not bad.
Everything I've read about it, people
It's above average for you last year.
are hopeful that this is going to be better than Wolong, because Wolong was disappointing for them after Neo's success. I think the game looks bad, though, so I'm really going against the plums here.
It's tough. This is the worst slot, always.
Give it to me. Give me Rise of the Ronin.
Okay.
Give it to me. I got 3 no dates, 3 dated. I'm going with it. I feel fine about it. It was on the list. It was fine. It's fine. It's fine. Pick
It's fine.
6.
Hey, it's the beginning. You know,
It's fine.
You're a late bloomer, EJ. It's all good.
I've come in first, third by a fraction of a point, and second. So I feel pretty confident that I know what I'm doing. I'm just not better than Nick. No one's better than Nick.
You were better than me once.
By 3 points on a late year Forza pick with private bidding. Like,
And my counterpicking Deathloop.
well, yeah, you really fucked that up, didn't you?
Oops.
Is that the year I counterpicked Monkey Island? Or was that the second year?
That was the next year,
Yeah.
I believe.
So I don't have a new game franchise, do I? No, I do. I drafted
Pepper
Pepper
Grinder.
Grinder. That's right.
Pepper
that's
Grinder.
right. That's right.
EJ holding on to that flex spot though. There's at least like 4 remakes that are like either dated or like pretty sure things. Surprised he didn't just go for it in the draft, but
He doesn't have any competition.
I have no competition. I have $100, and I would rather wait for a more known quantity than take a flyer. You guys took all the known quantities.
That's true. You could have taken them.
Hey, I told you, Konami is pulling a Konami. It's all good. I'm trusting.
What's the last game Konami's published?
it's damning. Bomberman 2 came out last year, I believe.
I was gonna say Metal Gear Survive or whatever it was.
Whoops.
No, they also did that bad Contra game.
Oh, that's true.
You could have taken Persona 3.
Yeah, but Persona 3, Nick is way higher in Persona 3 than I am.
That's crazy. You should be higher. That game has insanely good review scores in every iteration it's ever had, and this looks to be the definitive way to play it.
Persona 3 is the goated Persona game.
Yeah.
The last version of this game was a little soft. It is an old game. Persona 5 has been a thing. If they completely revamp the systems to be Persona 5, it's going to do amazing.
All these games are old games, EJ. Persona 5 was a 2016 game that played like a 2010 game.
Well, that's my
It's true.
point. Is at what point do people just say, oh, yeah, well, I've done this before?
Never, because it's the people who buy these games. That's what they want. They want new
The last
characters,
Persona game
but
got
the
a
same
78.
systems.
Like, what are we talking about?
That was a tactics game. Yeah, that's not a Persona game, dog. That is a tactics
versus the
game.
14th remake. Like, it's just at some point there will be diminishing returns.
Oh man, no.
You don't understand the Weeboos.
Chris, if you're so confident in it, why did you take the Surefire 85 and not the Surefire 90?
The Surefire 85, 1,000 Year Door is an 89 on Metacritic.
What was Super Mario RPG?
Has no review aggregate. It doesn't. There is no aggregate review of that. It's a Super Nintendo game.
1,000 Year Door 85. Can we lock that in? Are we side betting? We side bet number 2?
You want to bet? I'll take that it's over an 85.
There's a good chance that that game score starts with a 9, but I think like 88, 89 is a more fair range.
Yeah.
I don't think
That's
it
my
gets down to 85.
expectation, and the only reason I took it when it did, well, besides the fact that is like clearly first round, first pick point worthy. Having that in the flex slot was too important to me. Yeah, I'd side bet you that it's 85 or higher.
We'll loop back to this.
Now he's quiet. Now he's quiet. Now he's quiet. Now he's quiet. That's what I thought.
You got to pick.
Chris, I'm sorry for chipping in. If I didn't say anything, he probably would have taken your bet easy.
No, it's cool. It's cool. We'll circle back. We'll circle back.
Winners circle back. All right, Chris, it's your pick.
Wait, so did both of you guys spend 2 days at my house while I was at my most contagious, and neither of you got sick?
Correct.
That's amazing.
Yes, that is true.
I spent 14 seconds giving Mark a hug, and I got sick.
You touched patient 0.
And then Sarah, who I kissed twice each night before she left, the 2 nights I was most contagious.
She's built up an immunity to Mark.
Apparently.
I think it's genetic.
I think it's just like a placebo effect. EJ just hears the word being sick and he just gets sick. He doesn't know, but he actually has to give him germs. They just kind of exist in his
body
existence,
creates
and
them on their own.
Yeah, exactly.
My last respiratory infection was November 2019, pre-pandemic, Brandon. I haven't had a cold in over 4 fucking years. That's a world record. I will never go that long again without being sick. That was amazing.
But that's also because you avoided humans.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I hope you can break that PR, EJ, because 4 years is a good amount of time not being sick.
It's an amazing time. I went to a Kiss concert, maskless, with a bunch of boomers who probably weren't vaccinated, and I didn't get sick. It's not like I've lived in a fucking underground bunker for 4 years, Brandon. I've lived a perfectly normal life.
Now, don't say that. Going to a Kiss concert is not perfectly normal.
All right.
No sane human would choose.
Yeah. Did they play Glove Gun?
That's so fucking funny. Glove gun. Concert so deplore.
He's talking about his dick.
I'm gonna get roasted for this. I just know it.
Let's roast you.
I'm ready.
You put it in the Deep chat already.
We gotta keep track of these things. I'm gonna pin all of these.
I'm taking the most EJ counterpick bait pick imaginable. And God, it would be so funny if you did. I am going to take. Oh, that was adding to my watch list. God, I fucking hate this interface.
We'll go to the draft instead of the watch list tab.
Well, I'm
It's so
working on
easy.
it, but the fact that I have to manually select showing my watch list in the draft tab is fucking annoying. I'm taking the first of 2 downloadable content expansions for Alan Wake.
A reasonable pick.
Alan Wake 2 Night Springs.
I was wondering about that. I was wondering when someone would actually jump on those.
Seems like it's not going to be as high as Alan Wake. Brendan is about to cry.
No. I mean, I had briefly thought about it, but if there's one thing that Remedy hasn't done super well, it's DLC.
I looked
Like
at that.
The Control DLC was,
If there's one thing I like about my DLC is not being able to play as the titular character. So
I don't know. It could be good. I mean, obviously the game was fantastic.
I think that's going to make more of a difference relative to this particular DLC. Because looking at the way that the scores broke down for Alan Wake 1's DLC, that was already a marginally scored game, and then the DLC was more marginal.
this would be amazing if I counterpicked it, and this was my redemption this year. Like,
Go for it.
everyone else takes big L's on counterpicks, and I zero
Once
out.
bitten, twice shy, EJ.
Okay.
Okay. My last game, it does not have a release date. It is slated for the first half of 2024.
No.
Kind of a flyer.
No, don't do it.
I am taking Frostpunk
Don't do it.
2.
No!
Yeah. Get him. Get his ass.
Cannot hear the game.
No!
Frostpunk
No!
2.
This was my fucking
EJ.
ace in the hole.
Then draft
No, it
it.
wasn't.
Then draft
No, no,
it.
no,
Why did you leave it?
Because this
Jesus
was gonna
Christ.
be a low key, like, because this was gonna be a quick $3 bid. Nobody would look twice
and
at
then you
it.
would have lost it. Okay.
Oh,
It's got an
man.
86. It took me 2 seconds to Google that Frostpunk 1 has an 86, and I would put $5 on that. Easy. $3 bid.
Do you know
Bitch,
anything about
please.
this game? It's a completely different game than the first one.
So why are you so bullish on it?
I know it's gonna be good
But not bullish enough to draft it.
Yeah,
you
seriously.
ding dong.
because he doesn't have a release date. This could easily get pushed out of the year. That was
Rift of the Necrodancer. You
Yeah,
picked that before you
golly.
picked this.
that game's gonna come out this year.
Maybe.
Its quality may be in question. Frostpunk is an easy delay. That's why I was waiting on it. My other games, they would be more surprising delays, you know? So I'm weighing the pros and cons of how well I think it's going to do versus whether or not I'm confident it's going to come out this year. And Frostpunk, I'm not confident in, but it's going to be a fucking bangarang of a game.
Well, Brennan weighed his pros and cons, and he decided that he's going all in.
Brendan's flying by the seat of his fucking pants here. How did nobody draft Visions of Mana? I thought that would have been Brandon's first pick.
No release date, no gameplay.
He took Hades 2! Hades 2 got drafted!
Well, Brandon aside, everybody else who's drafting with their head and not their ass, like
I'm blown away.
Brennan took Silk Song.
Silk Song could actually come out this year.
that's totally different.
He's earned Silk Song.
And Chris picked Metroid 4. Come on.
Nick thinks it's great. Nick knows.
This is going to be an insert clip in
It
the
might be
future
this year.
when Silk Song and Metroid 4 and Unannounced Mario comes out and Brandon's just sitting there like John Travolta being like, where's Hades? What the fuck?
I honestly hope so.
All right, what's your counter, Brandon? First counter
DJ's
pick.
got Homeworld 3.
Oh, man.
You're the first counter pick.
Oh, boy. Howdy. What do I counterpick? I mean, we're playing not for friends. We're playing for victory here. So
Brandon, your hopes have all but gone.
I know everything's getting counterpicked.
His whole roster. Oh my God, there's so many great.
Is Brandon going to have 4 counter picks at the end of this draft?
Yes,
Holy
I honest to
shit.
God think he will. I'm so serious.
No, Nick's coming for me. No, Nick's gonna counter Hades, which means I get to counter one of his JRPGs.
Well, Brandon gets a counter first. Let the man.
Thinking.
We're picking over his dead carcass while it's still breathing.
I know.
He's Prometheus, and we're just eating his liver out while he looks at all his
You know
counter pick
what?
options.
You know, I love you, Bren Dog, but I think I'm gonna counterpick Dragon's Dogma.
Whoa. Oh. That's still oh.
I'm sorry, Bren Dog. I know you're coming for me now.
I wish I could come for you, Brandon, but I have the last counter pick. I have the last counter pick. There's a free counter pick. Couple of them actually.
Yeah, there's some layups.
Nick and EJ will
layups.
get those.
Yeah, I know exactly what 2 games are about to come off Brandon's roster. There's one. There's
fucking-
one.
Of course. The game's 2025 and it's going to be impeccable, but it's going to be early access for a full year before it comes out.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like the last one.
My draft counter pick is like giving me a blank drop down.
You have to hit the little arrows. It did that to me too.
I know how to use the internet. It's not dropping
know,
anything
EJ.
down.
It sounds like you don't.
I refreshed
Try
the
just
page,
refreshing the page.
and it is now working.
There you go.
Wow. Have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in?
Ayuden, sweet Coden.
Okay, so-
leaving Ayuden for Chris,
Yeah, that's
and then Brennan gets Grand Blue. It's perfect.
yeah. This is actually flawless. I'm shocked that you picked up Suikoden. I know that Nick had the Victor Wembanyama slam dunk. With,
I'm sure this is going to
Hades
review
too.
as well as Tales of Symphonia, if it even comes out in 2024. I'm
well,
not
as I
worried
said,
about it.
I don't think it's coming out. It is definitely going to review better than Tales of Symphonia. That's not going to be a 69. That's great. So they could trip and fall over that bar. If it comes out. If it comes out,
It's so hard to trip over a CD, dude. They barely stick up.
yeah.
That's why you're sliding on it.
Yeah, but if that comes out, you'll definitely lose like 10 points on that. But I think it's as safe a counter pick as there is, other than Ayuden Chronicles, which I'm fucking obviously counter picking right now.
I mean, I get it. You're all threatened by me.
That is not what counterpicks mean, Brandon. That is quite literally the opposite of what counterpicks mean.
You have been spending too much time with Andrew and have inherited his sociopathic self-confidence. Let me refresh here because I'm also getting remind me, Brandon, how do I where are those arrows I have to click to get the
They're up your ass.
Are they? Threaten me with a good time. I'm gonna have to close my whole web browser because I've refreshed like 6 times and it's not giving it to me.
Brandon, I know you're the punching bag this round because you're the rookie. Brandon was the punching bag last draft.
And I was the draft before, so here we go.
It's all good.
It's rookie hazing, brother.
You got to remember, I'm a construction worker. I don't know anything but hazing when it comes to socializing with the people I work with.
Welcome to the family.
And a younger brother.
Yeah, and a younger brother. It's an absolute toxic community.
Ayuden Chronicles 100 Heroes is counterpicked.
I hope that hangs dong on Chris. I'm not going to lie, Brandon. I'm not rooting for Ayuden Chronicles. I'll take you to dinner, baby. I just want to hang some dong on my boy over here.
EJ, you had me for 2 days, and I saw nary a whiff of dong.
You saw a lot of me.
I did,
did.
But,
No dong.
but no dong.
Well, you should have said something.
He said it with his eyes and his heart.
I did, but
You weren't listening.
All right, Bren, what are you doing here?
The arrow's on the right side, I believe, of the drop-down box.
Oh, mine's blank too. Oh no, that was no.
There you go.
No, I just had to wait 2 seconds. That's Sandy Internet for you there, bucko.
shout out Sandy, Oregon.
Yeah, dude.
Brennan, unannounced Mario. Counterpick unannounced Mario. Unannounced Mario.
EJ,
Do it. I
shut the
fucking
fuck
dare
up.
you.
Shut the fuck up. Stop. Brandon, yell at EJ for using Bren as his mouthpiece.
I mean, we kind of are. Oh, yeah. I mean, my bad. I said I would. Hey, EJ, knock it off. You weasel.
That's the best you can do.
You're not using big enough words.
Brent, can you yell at EJ on my behalf then for trying to use you as his mouthpiece?
EJ, shut the fuck up. I'm tired of you using it as your mouthpiece.
He just muted.
He peaked so hard.
I love that.
I can't hear a fucking thing you just said because you peaked the mic. I can't wait to listen to this episode this week. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I was gonna go off and I was like, my better judgment kicked in. I was like, I have to sing. This is a challenging vocal
That's a
track.
working man.
Yeah, sorry, Chris. I was writing in the chat what a dumb I was, and so I wasn't really paying attention. So my bad.
You're good. No, you're good. You're great.
This is a hard one because all the easy counter picks are taken and there's nothing else.
Layup.
I'll have to shoot like a 3/4 court shot right now.
I was just looking at the Control DLCs and whoo.
Yeah, those were rough.
They are not good.
I don't think Alan Wake will dip down to the 70s for their DLC, but I also don't remember which DLC is which as far as the story and if there's like a game mode being added. I don't remember what has been detailed already.
Yeah, and I haven't finished the New Game Plus yet, so I don't really know what's coming in the DLC. So
I'm not as low as EJ on Prince of Persia. I know that's something that he was probably tempted into considering.
Until he got a
counterpicking, but
gimme.
he wants Suikoden instead. Interesting.
I mean, that one I think it'll do okay, but I don't want to lose 11 or 12 points on a counter pick.
I mean,
I don't know.
it's hard. It's hard because last year losing 11 would have put you and picking a couple other things that maybe you will not release that we start taking a few more flyers on because this is just not going to be as good a year. You could maybe have gotten away with a minus 11 or 12, but this year I don't think.
Yeah, it's like do you want to go with the safe maybe 10 points lost or go for the risky Metroid Prime, Mario, like games that if they do come out are easy mid 90s. Like that's tough.
And to be fair, EJ, right choice 100%. If you're going to counterpick something that you're like, this isn't coming out, but that is not going to lay a Greg Oden-sized dick on your face if it does come out, like that was the one to do.
Brandon, did we not clearly explain what counterpicks were, and is that our bad? And should we entertain the idea of Brandon getting a counterpick again?
No, don't entertain it. No, it doesn't matter.
What was your understanding of what the counterpick is?
When I Googled it, what it said was that because I was like fantasy drafts, what are counterpicks? Is that the person gets instead of getting plus points, they get minus points for whatever game you pick.
Oh, that is literally the opposite. I absolutely think that we should give him another counter.
No, it's good.
No, Brandon.
No, that's
sanctity
for me
of the game.
That's a
Sanctity of the
failure
game.
on our
That
part.
is sanctity of the game for my inability to check in with you guys.
No, we should have explained. Listen, last year when Brendan was a rookie, I got on this fucking website with him and I screen shared it and I walked him through everything and explained everything before the draft. And you came in with something that we assumed you understood.
Once again, I could have taken the time, and I meant to, and I forgot to pull you aside, to have you do what you did for Brendan. So I want to take accountability for my actions. And
You need as much help as you can get.
I don't
Please take
care.
it.
Yeah, Brandon, it literally, this is our bad for not explaining.
Free swappies.
Nick, overrule him. Just yank it. Just overrule him by
delete
manager.
the counter pick.
Take
So,
the fucking
Brandon,
counter
We
pick out.
can delete all the drafts or all the counter pick drafts, and we'll start over from you, and then we'll go back in that same order, and we'll pick what our counter pick drafts are with your understanding what the counter pick actually means.
Okay, fine.
Let's do it. So, Brandon, counter picks.
Locking in something that somebody can't take away.
And the more important thing is that you lose points based on how many points it gets. So the big thing last year was EJ counterpicked Alan Wake 2 early in the year, thinking that maybe it would get a delay. And if a game is delayed, that game gets a 0 and they're stuck with a 0 and you lose no points, which is a very good thing. But Alan Wake 2 came out. Brennan still couldn't drop it, but it also meant that he got minus 19 points for the 19 points that Brennan got on his roster. So if Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out and gets an 85, you would lose 15 points. But if you counterpick anything else, you would lose the points that game would get.
So a counterpick, you'll lose any points above 70, and you'll gain any points below 70. And if it locks them in, so if it doesn't come out, you get a 0. And a 0 is what you want. Gaining points on a counterpick is very rare, but you want to lose as few points as possible, meaning you're betting against bad games or games that won't come out. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I'm just looking at I understood. So I'm just kind of looking at the options. That's why you see my deer in the headlight face.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, let's run it back. That's our bad for not clarifying that at the top of the draft. But that's an easy fix. So now you get a chance to...
I mean, there's two obvious choices here.
Do we want to... how do I want to say this? Do we want to... Are we mulliganing this entire counterpick round, or are we just going to give Brandon a chance to select and then we're going to select what we already selected?
I think we mulligan it because that has cascading effects. Like if he counterpicks a game that I was going to counterpick, then what's my choice?
Oh,
That
no,
kind of thing.
I looked at what was already counterpicked, and I'm not going to...
Brandon, it's a mulligan.
Y'all safe on that. I know it's mulligan, but...
Well, they're all his games anyway, so...
also that.
Okay, that's fair.
The only game I have a choice on is Rift of the Necrodancer, which I'm not doing that one. So Brennan can still have that.
Brand, I thought that was a smart counterpick as an aside. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah, I don't think there was really many good options, but
I think there are more options that might not come out than there are. You follow your heart.
those can be later ones.
So clean slate.
Okay.
Are you gonna have to manually do these, Nick?
Yes, I'm manually doing it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, it would have to be a bid and just,
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with dollars and stuff, changing dollar amounts.
So, I appreciate all the hard work you do, Nick, for running this, but I mean, the smartest choice is an unannounced 3D Mario platformer, because I don't think we're getting Switch 2 till spring of 2025.
Locking it in.
Lock it in.
Oh, my God.
I love the absolute fucking cojones on this guy. I love it,
Wow.
Brandon.
That's
I love
fucking-
it.
That's fucking crazy.
We know what it is, Brandon. Respectfully, you've already dug yourself a hole with some of your draft picks. This could be the swing if we start losing points on draft picks and this comes out in 2025. This could level the playing field. So you have nothing to lose. I respect it. I respect the fucking cojones. The absolute Gilly Forest size plums on this man.
Hey, if I'm not playing this on the knife edge the whole time, I ain't playing it right.
I love that, Brandon.
Respect.
So then are we just going to go continue down and Nick?
Yes, I stuck with Hades 2. EJ, are you still going to stick with Suikoden?
Well, you guys fucking roasted me so hard. I'm like, maybe I should go in Chronicles.
Yeah, that's totally.
I
That's
thought
totally
that was a
valid.
good pick. I said it was a good pick.
No,
Like, it's-
I'm going to stay Suikoden, and we're going to hope for a delay here in a JRPG filled year.
I mean, hey, they said to expect it spring of this year, so bring it on.
They told
EJ.
me to expect it last year too, and look what happened. So
They said December last year, and so their pushback isn't that far.
And then Chris, you went
Excellent.
with
I'm going to
Ayuden,
stick with
correct?
Ayuden, which I still do think is a much better counter pick than Suikoden if it comes out.
Okay, got that for you. Verdingy counter pick. And Brennan, you went with Rift of the Necrodancer. Are you sticking with that as well?
Yeah, I'll stick with it.
Are you thinking it's just not going to come out, or
I know the last one did really good.
the last two did really good.
Yeah.
If it comes out, it's going to score better than fucking Prince of Persia. I promise you that.
side bet?
What's our side bet? What's our side bet?
If Rift comes out, it scores better than Prince of Persia. If it comes out. I'm not playing the delay game.
Yeah, I'm going to stick
Let me
with
look
it.
at what I have those at. Let me see. Well, I didn't even put a guess on Rift. Wait, I've got Rift at 82, Prince of Persia 83. So I mean, I think they're pretty close.
I put Prince of Persia at 81, and I put Rift at 86.
Confidence of this man.
They're all 86 or higher. I just don't know. I mean, they know what they're doing.
I don't know.
The game itself, like how they've shown it, has not done much for me.
Yeah, I mean, over
it's-
Splatoon 3 side order, over Senua's Saga Hellblade 2.
I'm not saying over.
I'm just.
I don't think either of those games are going to.
It's a
score
bold choice.
worse
Brendan's
than-
had a perfectly cromulent draft, and I think he came in at the final hour and said, "You know what? Let me hang some dong on myself." It wouldn't be a draft with Brendan if that didn't happen. So I feel okay about it.
Projecting.
EJ, I'll take that $10 bet.
$10 side bet. Nick, put it in your spreadsheet.
$10 side
If
bet.
Rift comes out,
Mhm.
it is
If it comes
scoring
out.
higher than Prince of Persia. I could totally eat crow on this. I think Prince of Persia looks fucking awful. And of course, we all thought Benedict Fox looked good. I thought Afterimage looked good. So I don't know how to judge Metroidvania games like this, but I think it looks bad. The animations are janky. The graphics suck. Doesn't mean it can't be a good game. I just think it looks bad. And that is a big deal in the current year.
And then what's the bet? $10.
$10. And of course, Brandon and I's bet,
Then your Ayuden one is for dinner.
yeah, for dinner. Ayuden versus
Don't write dinner, write
Red and
date.
Blue. Yeah, mandate.
We're going on a
mandate.
date.
While we're talking side bets, any other side bets that we want to potentially look at while we're here? I love the side bets. I'm trying to get juiced up here.
Switch to 2024, $20.
I don't want to bet against that because I just want it to be true.
I want it to be true so bad, but I am so confident it's not till 2025. So I think I'll take Chris on that one.
Oh,
I just feel it in my soul. It's 2025.
That'd be such a bummer, dude. 8 years with this shitty mobile hardware. What just a boner that is.
And then we'll have 8 more years with another shitty mobile hardware, EJ.
I know.
Just slightly less shitty.
Switch 2 is not even going to be as powerful as a Steam Deck.
I'd say about kind of comparable.
I think it should be at least comparable because the Steam Deck's kind of underpowered. But again, they went for something that you could squeeze 3 hours of battery life out of, which battery life is obviously crucial to Nintendo. And when the Switch launched, it barely scraped 4 hours. And that was like pushing it for a handheld. Now it gets, you're getting 6, 7, 8 hours of handheld time out of it. So it's really pretty amazing. Any other side bets? Any unreasonable confidence?
Usually it's like all of these side bets are like, this game's going to be better than that game. I don't know if I have any that just like are popping off the top of my dome. I think my draft picks kind of speak for themselves, and I'm not going to double down on a draft pick.
yeah. No, I think I'm big chillin'. I think those are the two things we talked about the most is these dueling schlocky JRPGs that are coming out and the Switch to will they, won't they.
You know what's funny about Ayuden Chronicles and Grand Blue is of all the schlocky JRPGs, those are the two that I thought were actually going to be decent. So I think they'll both probably be 8s. I don't know.
And yet here we are competing against them.
Let me read you what I read for Ayuden Chronicle. Suikoden's successor was a Kickstarter game which can be all over the map, looks like a 3DS game, but people are excited for some reason. Feels wrong to doubt a JRPG like this. I wasn't going to draft it,
I mean,
but it feels wrong.
I mean, admittedly, I probably have a heavy bias since I'm a backer for the Kickstarter. And a huge
collusion!
Suikoden fan. I know, right?
Collusion.
And a huge Suikoden franchise fan, one of my top all-time favorite franchises. So I will admit, there's a lot of bias. But I mean, I
It's
like
monetarily and emotionally
It's a hard
invested.
pick. I totally understand. Let's run it from the top. Bren's Soft, run us through your draft, my friend. Any final notes? How do you feel about how it went?
I feel pretty good about this, minus the counter pick. It has me just feeling a little queasy, but so my first pick was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think it's probably one of the best slots that you can get for the flex. Maybe one of the highest rated games this year, potentially. Who knows? We'll see. Hollow Knight Silksong. Obviously, this has been a running joke in the league. This is the year, baby.
The albatross is on your neck now.
Come out, like, it's going to be a fucking banger. And
Yeah, it's going to hit.
Yeah. So fingers crossed on that one. Dragon's Dogma 2. Capcom has just been killing it. I think they release really good games now.
Who would have thought?
And
Not
I know,
me.
not me. Really excited to actually play that one this year. The Plucky Squire looks like a very cute game. One game that I definitely wanted last year, but hey, hopefully it comes out this year too. And then Frostpunk 2 should be pretty good if it does end up coming out. Black Myth Wukong, great Souls-like game.
It's gonna be awesome. It looks fucking
Yeah.
tight. It looks
You'll-
great.
You will watch me stream it.
Hell yeah, brother. Redingy.
Oh
Chris,
boy, that's
Run
me.
us through. How you feel?
I feel good. I think that, well, I'll just run it down. So I picked, let me get this in slot order so I can run it down in the order it was picked. My number one pick on the remake of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Wanted to get that flex slot filled with some good points. I think this is, could start with a 9, could very well start with a 9. I think there's a world where that happens. But in any case, I think high 80s, befitting a first round pick. Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail. Can't believe that this wasn't something that somebody snatched up prior to it snaking back to me. But very happy to have that because those expansions literally never miss. Like that is as guaranteed points as a Dead Cells DLC. It's gonna be great. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Say what you will, I think it looks great. It's going to run absolutely amazing on every console, which is going to get it some serious love. I think it already has, but a quality Metroidvania that I'm definitely going to play next paycheck. Metroid Prime 4. Speaking of this is the year, I think Switch 2 is coming. That's coming with it. Pepper Grinder, going to be an indie banger, little Devolver Digital action. And Alan Wake 2 Night Springs, which... I don't know. I feel like I'm going to see somebody's name next to that in a counterpick slot before that lands in a couple weeks. When that lands a little bit later this spring. I feel like somebody's gonna get yippee and counterpick that. I have a feeling, but we'll see if Alan Wake 2 score scares them off or not.
Something we should note for Brandon, the bidding system. We can talk more about how the bidding system works off air, but something to note on record is that if somebody puts in a bid to kind of pick one of your games and you go to drop that game in response before that bid goes through, your drop, it'll process before the bid's process. So, Brandon, you go to counterpick Alan Wake with a $5 bid in 3 months, and Chris sees that and it freaks him out. He can go and drop that game and your bid will fail because he dropped that game before the counterpick bid could go through.
But Chris would never do that to me, right?
Chris would for sure do that.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
That's harsh.
If I had any indication, like if they release a trailer for that, and I'm like, oh boy, this looks like Alan Wake 1 DLC. Then yeah, I might go. No, I'm getting out of town. Depending on if.
But
I
also,
see some
you
folks.
only lose money on bids that are successful.
Yeah.
Jigster Domsoft. I feel reasonable in my draft. You guys definitely kind of threw some curveballs early, which sort of shook up some of the order for me, but I was really happy to get both Flight Sim and Erdtree right off the rip. Really nice 1 and 2 picks for me. And drafting third, I feel really nice about that. So, again, playing with fire a little bit, drafting games that don't have release dates, but I think this is the time to do it. Rip the Necrodancer, we talked about at length, counterpicked by Brennan. Homeworld 3, I think, has low-key potential. This could be like a game that we look back on the Hall of Fame at like the 5th slot and be like, how did that happen? It could also be a Company Heroes, like I said. So who knows? Grand Blue, of all the current RPGs with release dates, this one looks to be the most competent, has the most competent names attached to it. But it's like throwing a fucking dart in the dark and you don't know where it's going to land. You know, I may have just hit Brandon in the foot for all I know. Rise of the Ronin, had to go against the Plums on this one. Again, you doubt the names attached to it. Consistent run. I tried to find out the other day, and Nick, maybe you can answer this. All it says is the dev team is Team Ninja. Do they have separate teams? Is the team that was working on Wolong developing this simultaneously?
I think so. I'm not too familiar with how Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja operate if there are multiple teams within the team, but it seems like it would just be that's the team, right?
Yeah, it's
They
interesting.
did this. They did. I mean, didn't Team Ninja or was it a Mega Force that did that Monster Hunter like? I can't remember. But yeah, Koei Tecmo is kind of a weird, kind of double A hired gun as far as development goes. So very hit or miss. A lot of good games though. I don't know.
They have a great track record. It's weird that they're doing two Souls-like that are so similar. I mean, Rise of the Ronin's got like so far appears to be less of these sort of fantastic, mythological, much more grounded. It's just weird that they're coming out 12 months apart. It's weird. It's strange to me. Little red flag, but people are excited about it. And then I counterpick Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster, hoping that doesn't come out. If it does come out, I have no finger on the pulse as to how good this game could be. No idea. These things are all over the fucking map. There's literally no way to predict. That's Jigstra Domsoft.
All right, Team Barry.
Let's go.
I am pretty happy with all these picks. I decided that this year was more of a take a risk because there's, very high possibility of new hardware from Nintendo, which means we're going to be getting some launch titles for that. So I took some risks on that. And Metaphor, there's still a likelihood that it could come out in 2025, but I figured if it is 2024, I want it on my team, and having 6 drops means I can drop this pretty freely if anybody wants to check me on that. If they want to check me too late, if they want to check me early and put a bid on it, then I don't know. But right now I'm feeling like there's a high possibility it's coming out this year. They said 2024 and there's little reason to doubt it. So I started out with Persona 3 Reload. That game, every time it comes out, it gets immaculate scores, and there's very little reason for me to believe that this game will score any lower. Metaphor, like I said, it just looks fantastic the way they added a little bit of action to the combat system before you start the battle, so you still get the turn-based thing that people like, but you also get more interactivity, which they kind of played with a little bit with Persona 5, with the way that you have the stealth sections where you can start a battle and like have the drop on an opponent. Unicorn Overlord, just beautiful art style, Vanillaware just does not miss. Splatoon 3, all of the expansions for Splatoon have scored very highly, and this one being a roguelike mode, like I talked about, people are so hungry for roguelike modes. Valhalla, DLC, like just that came out, like people love that for Ragnarok. Senua's Saga, Microsoft needs the W, and they said 2024, so I'm hoping that means that they're actually confident that it's hitting this year and not that they're desperate for something in 2024, which is also a possibility. This is like not a 50-50, I'd say 60-40, but also I can drop it if it feels like it's not going to come out. And then Mario 3D Bro, if it comes out, then that's an easy 30 points on my table. So very happy about that. And then getting the first counter pick against Brandon, getting Hades 2. I mean, bro, if it comes out, it's going to be in early access and you're not going to get any points for it. It's going to do the same thing they did last time because they did the last one for a full year of early access, if not even a little bit more. I think it was like 15 months on Epic Game Store in early access, and then they got paid out both sides. They got paid out for Nintendo exclusivity for a short period of time as well. I think they'll probably do the same thing with this. I mean, yeah, I feel really good about my entire list.
Brandon, moment of truth. Run us
All
through
right.
it, brother.
The Ramparts.
How do you feel?
I'm feeling pretty good. With the flex pick, I went with Suikoden 1 and 2, and like you said, it's kind of a little bit hard to predict. Where I don't feel as somebody who plays JRPGs, it's all like it has. I feel a lot of like beloved JRPGs, especially with remakes, they suffer from the Nintendo score as well. Where like even if a Nintendo game isn't quite so good, they still get really good scores. It's same thing with old school RPGs, and this is one of the cult classics of like top echelon. This is how you make a JRPG. So as long as visually it looked good from the trailers and they touch up a lot of the localization dialogue issues, I think it's coming out hard and swinging hard. And like I said, I'm still confident that it's coming out around the same time as Ayudian Chronicles, because that's just the feeling I have about Konami. There's kind of a little bit of backstabbers isn't the word, but like shady, and like people they've dealt with before that, they don't work for them anymore. They kind of find ways to kind of come back and stab them in the back and whatnot. Then we've got Like a Dragon, which is a very solid series, so felt pretty comfortable just going with that. Tekken 8 is going to be a little bit interesting because the last Street Fighter people liked quite a bit, but then you had MK1, which was a mess, and then but I feel like having that to like kind of bounce off of and see, you know, reactions to that might might give them some time to be like, okay, let's polish things up. And then Tekken, just a tried and true fighters, and people love fighters, and so I feel like it's a pretty confident decent amount of points. And then Hades is my Hail Mary, because you either go big or you go home. You either get something that's just gonna overload you or something that's just gonna sink you, and Hades 2 is my bid for sink or rise. So Yudian Chronicles, like I said, Suikoden is a very beloved JRPG series, same creators as the first two games, and so I believe that it'll get, I mean, it's not going to be amazing. I'm talking like an 80, 82. So it's not too bad. I feel pretty comfortable. And then Helldivers 2 was just like a game that has a release date that I know is going to just get anywhere from probably a 78 to an 82. And people are just going to play and enjoy. And it's going to start my year off with just something nice.
When you explain it like that, Brandon, I want to roast you like 7% less, but only 7%.
Yes. Hey, I'll take that 7%. I'll take whatever I can get. I would have took 0.5%.
Oh man.
And then counter pick. Yeah, I don't know. Something in my soul with how good last year was just tells me that this year's going to be pretty mid, and so anything like a new Nintendo console or anything like that is gonna be held off till 2025. There's just something in my bones, in my soul, that tells me 2025 is when we will get a new Switch.
It's gonna be really disappointing if that's the case. Really a major bummer.
No, man, we got Princess Peach and we got Luigi's Mansion 2.
How come nobody drafted those games? Well, Luigi, what a waste of a flex slot that would be, because that is the worst Luigi's Mansion game by a country mile.
We did it, boys.
We done did it.
2024.
I'm excited.
In the books.
We've got this.
Brandon, you sound excited.
I am excited.
Yes.
There you go. You got a great set of games and a good counter pick. You should feel good. Now you just got to avoid drafting Destiny expansions and shit that's not going to get scores or come out.
No more Cult of the Lamb.
No more Cult of the Lamb. Hey, there's sex DLCs coming out this year, though. So,
oh shit, I forgot about that. People love sex.
I think four of us had a really good top end. Brandon had a decent top end. Like a Dragon's a good pick. But Final Fantasy, Silk Song, Paper Mario, Final Fantasy, Microsoft Flight Sim, Elden Ring, Persona, and Metaphor, that's like a really good top two.
JRPGs carry us again.
RPGs in general.
We talked about how soft this year was looking like, and it inevitably will be compared to 2023. But I was surprised after going through it. Like there was a lot of sleeper hits in the making, I think. That has been the Console Crusade Fantasy Critic 2024 draft. Like I said at the top of the pod, you can go to solo.to/Console Crusade. You can find our socials. You can find the links to all the business. You can join the Discord. Come talk shit. Most of our shit talking will now be in the Fantasy Critic thread in the Discord. You can find updates there, screen caps, memes, the whole 9 yards as we inevitably descend into this man's hitting his nose. What's going on?
Yeah, this is I have a thought. You don't have to vocalize that I'm hitting my nose.
But I like it because it's kind of cute. I like it. So what's up, Chris?
So my thought is you can also, if you want to keep up with the league, yes, come to the Discord. Please join in the Discord. Talk shit with us in the Discord. Talk shit about us in the Discord, in the Fantasy Critic text channel. But also, you can go to Fantasy Critic. You can create an account and you can follow our league and you can see our movements in real time and keep track of our rosters visually and our counter picks and bids visually. I would like to see if we could become one of the highest followed Fantasy Critic leagues this year. And looking on the homepage at the list of leagues that
Wouldn't
are
take
followed,
much.
it
10
would not
people.
take much. It would not take much to be a top 5 or even a top 3 followed Fantasy Critic league. So you can follow us there as well, Console Crusade.
We will also link that to the solo.to page. We'll see. I wonder if Kind of Funny and companies like that are going to do a draft. And if they do, what kind of following that garners.
They already do. And it's not much because they don't care as much as we do.
They
because
don't
we
care.
are sick in the head.
Honestly, this to me is infinitely more fun than any fantasy basketball league that I've been a part of. And I watch way more basketball than I do play video games. Like, I follow basketball. I talk about basketball every day.
Brandon's meme this morning was pitch perfect.
It was beautiful.
You're welcome.
Put that in the Fantasy Critic text channel, Brandon.
I'll do it right now.
I play plenty of video games. We talk about video games every goddamn week.
Well, next week when we do our 2023 catch up, I will go over the more than 24 games I beat last year.
That's a
talk
lot.
about
That's
that.
a lot. I haven't kept a list like that, but I do want to chat about, like we said at the top of the pod, you and Chris, Nick came down to Eugene, spent 2 nights. We played some games. We hung out. We had some laughs. It was a very low key 2 nights. Refreshing, despite falling ill over that time frame. I rang in the new year with a fever. It was great, but hanging out with you guys was wonderful. We'll chat about that. We'll talk about what we played last year.
Really quick, just to put a bow on our draft. I didn't think of any more, but before we started, I did have 2 phrases that I wanted to keep track of how many times they were said throughout the recording.
My
one was
list?
middling,
Oh, middling.
and the other one was some variation of that was going to be my next pick. So middling, we only got 2. I think Brennan broke the ice on that one, but going to be my next pick was 4 or 5 times, depending on how you want to break that down as far as the exact verbiage. But we did pretty good. 5 times ain't bad over an hour and a half that we recorded. 2 hours? No, God.
Well, we had 2.5. We had some people doing some taking some swings. I am frankly surprised nobody else was kicking the tires on Metroid Prime. And I certainly am surprised that Nick just went whole hog on, I'm just going to try and take Mario now and know that none of you have the nads to counterpick this and that you can drop it with impunity down the line.
Well, no, Brandon counterpicked Mario.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my
I locked
God,
him in.
I forgot. Oh, R-I-fucking-P. Good luck. Good luck.
This is either going to pay off for me or really pay off for Nick.
Well, don't
Yeah.
doubt Nick, because this piece of shit is always right about everything, except for Silksong releasing, and he's going to definitely get 35 points on it, and we're all just going to watch from a distance as he coasts into first like he did in 2022. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm projected first. Just wanted to say that.
That doesn't mean anything.
No, I'm
Brennan.
going to just relish in it right now because it's all going to be bad.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
I'm actually shocked I'm not projected last.
Oh, don't look at that. It doesn't mean anything. You are projected last.
I don't know how they do the projected points. Like, why does Silksong project at 12.5 points, but Dragon's Dogma is projected at 14.5 points?
No,
It doesn't make
no.
It's
sense.
just based on draft position and
Yeah.
percentage of leagues that the game is in.
It's a completely useless stat. I don't understand why it exists. It doesn't make any sense. The algorithm is busted. The man who runs this site should have a sit down and a stern talking to. Console Crusade!